Alright. Looks like I need a new box cutter. It's pretty dull. And there's only one blade in that. Unless the other blades fell out, which I don't know where they are. Well, let's see what we got to go with so far. Surface rust, spills of whatever, so I gotta clean all this out. I'm gonna repaint it. Be a problem. That's a lot of rust. But I got the other thing I want you to see here. I don't know what this condensation is from. It's not from it raining outside because it was underneath the mat. But we do have some condensation here, which if I didn't pull this up, yeah, this is where the hole would form, especially with this right here. Now, I'm gonna have to find a rust neutralizer to get rid of that business. Alright, so this wire brush is a really good thing for cleaning up these, wasting them down to the rest level. What is it? Don't need the screw in here. Let's close it up. What I'm going to end up doing is plugging these holes with good old-fashioned JB Weld. So, in case you ever use this stuff, I'm not going to be using, well, I might be using the traditional epoxy over this, but this is one of the steel sticks, which is just steel putty. So, after I clean up, these holes here, I'll be plugging them with that putty. I've used that putty before, and it's pretty good. Like I said, it's mostly for non-mechanical things, just like this. If you're plugging in a hole, or something that's not going to have a lot of stress on it, it's pretty good. So I'm going to put that down. Put down the regular JB Weld epoxy to seal it in. And then I'm gonna put the primer and paint over it. And I'm using this Bauer drill. This was something I got at Harbor Freight. I believe it's a lithium-ion battery. Yeah, lithium, 1.5 amps. It's a pretty handy drill. I mean, it's not a Black & Decker cobalt drill, but it works fine, and just goes to show you, for some types of tools, you don't really have to spend a lot on them. Hello again, and it is week 2 of the van conversion series. So before we get any further into getting the electronics, all that solar stuff, wiring stuff set up, there's one thing I wanted to address. Now, since this is not a van type, it's got panels on the other side, but this, I've got these windows here I'm gonna have to do something about. Now, there's a couple different ways you could do it. I'm gonna try this Plasti Dip. Now, there's a couple ways you could do this. Some people will get like the matte black Plasti Dip, spray it on the inside to have that permanent tinted window look. The good thing with Plasti Dip is that you can peel it off, so it's not like regular paint where it's gonna require some solvent, or you gotta have to scrape it. So you can So that's one of the good things with it. So that's why I chose it. So the other thing about Plasti-Dip is that it's very durable. I mean, people do their whole cars with Plasti-Dip. I've seen vans actually done with Plasti-Dip, which is pretty good, which I might do in the future. But for right now, what I want to do is basically paint over these windows with white and a gloss color to basically make these windows look like panels. Now, I mean, already it's going to be a little bit difficult because the sides of them go in, whereas on these panels you don't have that, sort of sticking out. But to somebody that's not right up against it, you're probably not going to even notice that. And even if you were right up against it, you probably still won't notice it. So that's the idea. It was just one of those sacrifices when I got this van. I knew I was going to have to do something about the windows. I don't want to do the tint back here because there's no real reason to. If I can cover up it, I will. I don't want to do the black Plasti-Dip on the inside just because it kind of makes it, I guess it makes a shady looking feel when the back of it is blacked out. So we're going to try this and see how it ends up. And if it doesn't look good, you can always do something else and peel this off. It's been a day later. Pretty much I've let this thing dry overnight so we can see what we have. So we have this, I don't know how to describe the feel. It's kind of plasticky. So it didn't come out perfect. I don't know if you can see, there's some runs, a lot of runs and whatnot. This would work better if I either used the paint sprayer or there's a aftermarket nozzle, I think it's called, from Dip Your Car, that helps the fan of the spray a little bit wider and a little cleaner. So as you can see, it left, like I said, some runs, and there's a little bit of a texture to it, which we can get out with some sandpaper now in a second. However, I didn't want to show you this. This is why it's better than just like spray painting or something like that. So I've got some a little bit that's sprayed here just from wind and whatnot, because I was outside, which ideally you'd want to be in a garage if you have a garage big enough to do this on a van. So this is basically how easily this removes on this first layer, at least, because this is just like, spray. So I'm just literally rubbing this and it's coming right off. Yet if I left this on here, it would stay on there. So that's kind of the good, and I guess, I don't know, bad. Well, I mean, it does stay on here. It's not really any issues with, at least from what I've seen and what I've read and YouTube videos and stuff like that, there's not any issues of it, coming off. And if it does start to chip or whatever, you can just pretty much spray over the area again and even it out. But that's how easily it just kind of rubs right off like dirt. So yeah, here's two. On this window there's a bit of spray here, but it's maybe easier to see. So if I had like a window squeegee, this would come off in a second. And that's just from where I rubbed it. So if I want to just peel this off, there's no damage to the window. It's not stuck. The window's not fogged. There's no residue or anything like that. I don't know if you can see that. But other than just, washing it, there's no problem. So when I want to take this off, if I ever wanted to sell this, same thing if you're going to do your rims or any other part of the car or truck or whatever you're doing, there's no problem removing this. Now there were some issues which I didn't know at the time. One thing, you want to remove your tape when the Plasti-Dip is still wet, because what happens is, unlike normal tape, when you peel it up, since this is peelable paint, it will start to peel up the Plasti-Dip. So I have here on this edge where I didn't do that, and the Plasti-Dip is a little bit starting to peel, so I have to cut off some of the tape that got stuck to it, and I'll have to respray this area. But that's another thing to know. Make sure you remove your tape while it's still wet. But for now, we're going to start. Well, I'm gonna clean up these edges that started to peel, and because of the tape, and then I'm going to show you how to basically smooth this out. The second coat on this part of the window, and it's, you know, got some more runs. I'm not too worried about that. What I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna use just water and sandpaper. I got this 2000 grit sandpaper, and I'm gonna buff out the runs. If I need to, I'll smooth it out. They do make a gloss spray for Plasti-Dip, which I'll probably use over this. I'll probably do one more coat, just because I see some areas that aren't as coated as the rest of it, and that should be good. This still has to dry yet. So you can look on YouTube. There's a couple different methods for spraying this. You know, you can spray your whole van. I've seen people do it, which I probably will do myself eventually. But for right now, I'm just testing the product and see how it works. Of course, hope that no leaves fall and get stuck to the side. That would be annoying. But we gotta do what we gotta do. We're not all rich, so we can't afford big garages or, you know, professional jobs. Since this is peelable, it's useful for budget-minded people. Already, as it is right now, last night as this was drying, I just came out to look at it to see what it looks like at night, and it functions very well to cover these windows at night. So let's say you were a camper and you're, I don't know, in a Walmart parking lot, because I know a guy that kind of got me into the van idea, because he does camp at Walmart parking lot and he does have big windows. This would be a good idea for him. Just get going, get a couple cans of Plasti-Dip, since he's got a white van too, and, you know, do these panels. Yeah, even when they're dirty, not professionally, you know, it's got runs and stuff like that, at night you can't see it and it looks like a normal panel van just at night. So this may be something that some of you are interested in. Hopefully once this dries, like I said, the next video will be kind of smoothing and cleaning this up, putting gloss spray on, you know, getting out these runs and uneven areas. So stay tuned, and we shall be back in the next video. Thanks for watching.